Sir.
Yeah.
Completed my MCA in 1993, but I learning the only AWS and DevOps. I'm interested in new technology.
Your voice is slightly inaudible. Is it okay for you, Ganesh, or is it only for me?
Same.
Same. Okay. Okay. Your voice is slightly inaudible. Hello, Kumar, you there? Hello.
I think is not a network connection.
Okay. So I'll go to Aldo then. Hi, Aldo.
Yeah, hi. Myself,
Hi.
Aldo.
Okay.
I'm from Kerala. I completed MCF in 2017
Okay.
and currently working in system engineer in last three plus years and here only,
Okay.
Kerala only. And here I'm working in L1 support only, not in cloud. Actually, I want to upgrade on my skills into cloud.
Okay. Hi, Aditya. Aditya, are you there? Aditya.
We'll go for Namrata.
Okay. Hi, Namrata.
Yeah, hi, sir.
Can you brief about yourself?
Yeah, sure, definitely. My name is Namrata. I stay in Navi Mumbai. I completed diploma in computer engineering in 2014. After that, I have total 7 years of experience. Started my journey as a IT help desk, then desktop support engineer, then service desk engineer. Currently working in a system admin engineer as a in a TCS. So I have total 7 years of experience in this domain only.
Great. Great. Karthik, hi. Karthik. Okay. Someone with the name of Redmi is also there. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you at least change your name? I'll understand who that is.
I can see by the name of Redmi. Can you change your name?
He just went out.
Okay.
Okay. Let me give you a brief introduction about my credentials or career. Right. My name is Ram. My name is Ram Kanchi. I have around 9 years of experience. Started my life as a manual tester. Then I got migrated into Linux system administration. I started working as system administrator. Then I moved into cloud. I worked on AWS cloud as well as Azure cloud environments as a cloud engineer. Then I got migrated into DevOps. So currently I'm working with a company called Hitachi Vantara. So these are the credentials. So if you ask me about my certifications, I am AWS Solution Architect Associate certified from Amazon, as well as Azure Administrator Associate certified from Microsoft. So these are the certifications, these are the credentials, and yeah. Um, if you ask me, I am also from the engineering background. I finished my BTech with electronics. So that's my pedigree, credentials, and career, if you ask me. So coming to the course which you're going to attend, we'll talk about it right now. So most of the people who are here are into support, whether it is L1 or system administrators. Some of you are working into academics, right? Different fields. So what we are going to learn in this course is Linux, AWS, and DevOps. This is a DevOps Master course. You will get the course contents, what we will be covering in after this session. Ganesh will provide you all the PDFs of it. So don't worry about it. So now coming to the DevOps. Why DevOps is one question I ask everyone, but I did not ask you. I'll explain why DevOps. What is DevOps? And why DevOps? Okay. DevOps comes from two words. It's a combination of two words, dev and ops. Dev means development. Op means operations. Where are these coming from? Where is this term DevOps coming from? Earlier this role was called build and release engineer. Build and release engineer. The main purpose of this role is to build softwares and release them, right? And release them. So now when you ask me, sir, why not build and release engineer? Why this progression towards DevOps engineer came into existence, you may ask me. So when you ask me that, I will explain few things. So the first thing is hindrances in production. Hindrances in production. What are the hindrances in production? Communication hindrances. Communication between the teams was not efficient. Tools and automation was not there back then, right? And then the flow of the project was not transparent to everyone. Flow of the project was not transparent to everyone. So everyone in the sense who? There are developers, there are testers, there are operations people, there are security people, right? All these teams come together for building a project and releasing it. Building a project and releasing it. So when these people don't communicate with each other properly, and when there is no proper flow through which a software goes from code to application, if a software flow is not proper, then you will get so many problems in production, which will delay the production. To overcome this delay in production, to overcome the problems in the production, we means the companies came up with something called DevOps. So what is DevOps? DevOps is not a tool, not a process. DevOps is a set of rules to be followed. Set of rules to be followed, or the set of nuances that should be followed in a company. Nuances that should be followed in a company. That should be followed in a company. So what happens with these nuances, you may ask me. So why follow a certain set of rules? Because when you do a task abiding to some rules, you will strictly do it from A to B. For example, if I told you to go from A to B, and if I have given you clear instructions, you will directly go from A to B instead of roaming around and going to B. That makes things much easier. So we have means companies have come up with something called set of rules or set of tools that will help you to process your code and make it get released into the market. So now, getting released into the market. Many of you may be using Android phones, correct or not? Many of you may be using Android phones. Many of you may be using Apple iPhones, right? If you observe, the current version of the Android is 12. Or if you go for iOS, it will be around 17, 15 point or 16 point or 17 point, something will be there, right? So now before Android 12, there are 11 versions of Android. So if you compare from Android 1 to Android 12, there are so many features that came into existence. There are so many features that came into existence. Means there are so many improvements. There are so many improvements that were happening. So when I said a lot of improvements that are happening, there is something that is happening continuously. There is something that is happening continuously. Tomorrow, after 12, you will get 13. After that, you will get 14. After that, you will get 15, 16, 17, and so on. You will be getting versions again and again and again, where there is continuous development, continuous deployment, continuous integration. Everything that is happening is which is continuous. So DevOps is always symbolized or recognized by the infinity loop. When you have a look at this, for example, let us have a look at the DevOps. Let us have a look at DevOps, and then go to the images, and you will see this image. This is very famous image that you will be seeing most of the times. Whenever you go to any demo, whenever you go to any class, they will be first showing you this thing. And they will be explaining you the DevOps flow. What is this DevOps flow? First of all, when you want to create an application, or first of all, whenever you want to create a software, you need to go ahead and gather the requirements. For example, let us have a look at some website. Okay. So let us have a look at something like Walmart.com. If you go to Walmart.com, and if you see, there are so many departments, there are so many services that are there. Go to the departments and you will get so many departments. From those departments, if you click on them, there are so many other things which you can do. So if you want to something like Flipkart.com, Walmart.com, otherwise Amazon.com, you see any e-commerce websites, there are so many modules which are made. For example, I want the Walmart site to be shown to the customer like this. For example, I want departments here, I want services here, I want the addresses to be here. I want reorder or my items here, sign in here. These are all the requirements, right? These are all requirements. When you have all these requirements, you have to gather the requirements first to build a particular thing. So first comes planning. So planning phase, requirements will be gathered. Then according to the requirements, your particular developers will take the requirements and start writing the code. And there won't be one developer, right? There are so many developers that are sitting. So many developers will make pieces and pieces and pieces of codes, which will integrate together into an application. So there are so many developers who are sitting and doing the coding. That code is integrated and built in the build phase. In the build phase, we will be using tools like Maven to make build. Once the build is done, testing is done. On the code, for the code quality, you will be testing the code quality using the tools like SonarQube. Also, unit testing is done. Once the build is ready, there will be performance testing, there will be functional testing, unit testing, stress testing, smoke testing. Every kind of testing will happen in the test phase. Then after testing, before release, you will also have user acceptance testing, smoke testing, beta testing. Like that, there are several kinds of tests that will happen, and after the test, the software goes for release. Once it goes for the release, it will be deployed on a particular server or on a particular environment or on a container, depends upon where you are deploying it. Once the deployment is over, we will be going ahead and operating that particular thing. Means your users will be operating it, or the company will be operating it. Once the operation is done, they will be monitoring about what bugs are you getting here, and then in the monitoring phase, they will see how your particular software is performing. Once this is happening, you will get so many bugs, suggestions, new upgrades, new updates, whatever you want to do to the particular service you are providing. For example, I'm giving a smartphone. In that smartphone, I want the camera to be having more quality. Now the camera is bit shaky. So next time what happens during the monitoring, you will understand or you will get a requirement stating that the camera should be improved. Then in the planning state, that becomes your particular business requirement. Then according to that, the code is done. According to that, build is done. According to that, testing is performed. Again, release. This time it will be 2.0. First time it will be 1.0. Second time it will be 2.0. Or it really depends upon the company you're working. Some companies will go with 1.1.1, 1.0.0, then 1.0.1, 1.0.2. Like that, there are so many will be coming into picture. All the versions will be coming into the picture. So now you have understood the flow of the DevOps. Now you have understood the flow of DevOps. Now you have to understand how actually DevOps exists in companies. How actually DevOps is carried out in companies. In companies, they will be using a lot of tools. How it will be happening? Let us have a look at it. At the end, you will understand how all the tools will come together, where all the operating systems will sit, where is cloud sitting, what is happening, what exactly happens in the companies, you will understand. So first of all, your developers will be writing the code. So now the developers are writing the code. They can't put it on a pen drive or a CD or something and give it to you, right? So all the code is put inside something called GitHub repository. Okay. This GitHub repository is directly connected to Jenkins. Jenkins is a CI/CD tool. Continuous integration and continuous delivery tool. This Jenkins contains something called master-slave architecture. The master is configured here in the Jenkins, and the slaves will be the tools that are there. For example, from Jenkins, there will be a tool that will be configured called Maven. This Maven does the build. Whatever code you are writing, that will come into the Jenkins. The Jenkins will pull the code in. Once it pulls the code in, it sends to the Maven. Maven contains a file called pom.xml file. Inside the pom.xml file, whatever EAR, WAR, ZAR, whatever you have written, these things, according to these things, one will be picked. According to your requirement, if it is ZAR will be picked and ZAR will be made. Once this is done, this is sent to something like, this is sent for the code quality testing, SonarQube. It will be sent to the SonarQube. Once SonarQube tests for the code, everything is fine, everything is running well, then what happens? Then JFrog comes in. JFrog comes in, then the Artifactory comes in. From the JFrog, Artifactory will take it, right? One second, not the Artifactory, one second, not the Artifactory. From the JFrog, once everything is fine in JFrog, what happens is, from the JFrog, from the JFrog, it will go to the container. So whatever code is written here, this code will become a var file. Once the var file is made, it will be sent to the SonarQube. From there, it will go to JFrog. From JFrog, it will come to something called Docker. And inside Docker, there will be images. Earlier, there used to be virtual machines, right? To make these virtual machines lighter, we have come up with something called Docker images. So in one of the images, your application will sit. For example, if it is Kubernetes, then you will configure a Kubernetes node. Then your application will be sitting in the Kubernetes node. From here, there are some tools like Trivi, which will do the security check. Then after that, there will be something called Artifactory. So this Artifactory will make the versions. So whatever version 1.0 you have sent here, Artifactory will make it 1.0.0, like that. So the entire flow happens through Jenkins, not like your infinite loop that is shown. Understood? So there are so many tools will be coming. So now after this entire thing has happened, where will your particular thing run? Where will all these things run? All these things will be running in a server. Okay, any of the tool you are seeing, any of the thing, all these things will be running in the servers. What servers? Linux servers. Linux servers. So now these Linux servers are sitting where? These Linux servers are either sitting in the data center, or they will be sitting inside cloud, or they will be sitting inside cloud. So now cloud or data center. So maintaining data centers is a tedious task because you have to pay huge amount to maintain the data center. For example, one project came, two projects came, three projects came. You have scaled up the data center and infrastructure. If one project is gone, again you have to scale down. For scaling up, scaling down, you will have revenue. For maintaining, you will be having revenue. For maintaining the people who maintain the data center, giving salaries, that becomes hindrance. So to make all these things easy, people have migrated to something called cloud. So in the cloud environment, what happens? You will go pay as you go mechanism. It is like your power bill. You use it, you pay it. So now inside the cloud, there are so many cloud service providers that are there. Cloud service providers like AWS is there, Azure is there, Rackspace is there, DigitalOcean is there. There are so many things. DigitalOcean is there. So one of the major cloud service providers here is AWS. So you will be learning AWS. And the servers, when they are sitting on the cloud environment, you have servers also that are running on the cloud environment. So these servers will particularly be having what? An operating system. What operating system they will be having? Linux operating system running, because Linux is reliable, Linux is secure, Linux is fast. So many of the organizations will be using the Linux servers. Out of Linux servers, what distribution? RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux distribution will be used in most of the companies. So now coming to the learning part. So coming to the learning part, we should be starting our journey with Linux administration. Many of the people who come to the DevOps people will say, first learn Linux basics. No, Linux administration completely you have to learn. Why completely you have to learn? Because you have to know how a particular server runs, behaves, and how to troubleshoot a particular server. If something goes wrong also, you should know. So Linux administration in and out, you need to know, because what happens is 40% of what you learn in Linux will be helpful even when you are performing critical tasks in DevOps. So next, this server will be sitting where? It will be sitting on AWS environment or cloud environment. So one cloud service provider you have to learn properly in and out, because what happens with AWS is AWS will be having so many services. So if you know the services and the interconnection of services, then only you can particularly formulate whatever you want to for your project. For that, deep learning of cloud is also important. After this, you will be learning DevOps. And DevOps nuances are according to their companies. Your company may follow one nuance, my company will follow my nuance. So the tools, most of the time, 90% of the time, tools will be according to your company. But we will have the standardized look of the tools. For example, for the source code management, we will be using GitHub. For CI/CD, we will be using Jenkins. And in Jenkins, we will also be learning Groovy. Then we will be learning Docker. Then we will be learning the basics of the Kubernetes. Then we will be learning SonarQube. Then we will be learning Docker. Docker, I already told you. SonarQube we will do. Then we will be learning about Artifactory. Then for the log management, we will be using ELK Stack, Elasticache, Logstash, and Kibana. That we will be using for monitoring the particular application, how your application is performing, what is happening. For that, we will be using Prometheus, Grafana, Nagios, and tools like that. These tools will come one by one, one by one, one by one. Now there are two tools here which are very important. One is Ansible and the other one is Terraform. Ansible automates the Linux tasks. So for making Ansible scripts possible, you have to understand what happens in the background. So that is why Linux administration is really, really important, because you will be using Ansible to automate a particular task on Linux. So if and only if you learn the Linux administration tasks properly, you can be doing Ansible better, because you will be using YAML scripts inside Ansible to automate this administration. And then in Terraform, Terraform is an infrastructure as a tool from the company called HashiCorp. This particular tool we will be using to automate the cloud services. For example, I want to provision a particular server on a particular network. Then I have to know how to create this network, how to create this particular instance, etc. So Terraform entirely depends upon the learning of AWS cloud, because backbone is AWS cloud. Backbone for Ansible is Linux administration. Again, the cloud basics will also sit in Linux administration. How? In Linux administration, you have something called DNS that becomes Route 53 inside your AWS cloud. For example, if there is users and groups in Linux, that becomes IAM. For example, there is storage, that becomes your EBS, EFS. Also, there is S3 when we are talking about the storage, and there is SSH, which you will be doing every day in for connecting to the instances on Amazon, which will also be covered inside the Linux administration. So all the learning which you are going to do is so well woven together. You have to learn Linux, then you have to learn AWS, then you have to learn DevOps. After completion of DevOps, we will also do a real-time project, which will be a simulation of a real-time project. You will also be having, weekly assessments as well as tasks every day, and within around 2.5 to 3 months, you will be finishing this course, and you will be completely able to go to the interviews and crack them on your own. If you have any other questions regarding the demo, you can ask me now. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Sir, what about the certifications?
About the certifications, if you complete this course, you can easily write RHCSA, which is Red Hat Certified System
Yeah,
Administrator, and RHCE. Both you can write. Okay. And then also you can write AWS Solution Architect Associate, because this is the course content we will be following. At least you have to know this much to go into DevOps. So these both you can write our answer. No problem. Anything else? Any other questions you have? You may ask. Any questions? If you have any other questions, you can ask me. Aldo, Aditya, Karthik, Namrata. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a doubt. Actually, in
Yes.
this course, you are covering only the Linux administration or the AWS?
Linux, AWS, and DevOps.
Okay.
We will be covering Linux first, administration, then AWS, then DevOps.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
Yeah, Namrata, tell me.
Sir, as a beginner, are they directly hire us for the AWS cloud person or DevOps person? What exactly? Or
I'll tell
we
you.
can
All the support nowadays, you may be learning, you may be learning only Linux right now, only AWS right now, or only DevOps right now. All the support, 70% of the support got migrated into DevOps. Okay. Only 30% of the market you have separate. That too, very low jobs. Even if you go ahead and search Linux admin, with around 6 years of experience, 7 years of experience, 4 years of experience, 3 years, 2 years, anything, they will be asking you DevOps tools. Without DevOps tools, they are not hiring because they want multi skills right now. They If I hire only Linux administrator, tomorrow if I want him to work on cloud, how will he work, right? That's the reason why everyone is turning to DevOps. And also one more thing I want to tell you is Aditya, please talk to me. No, don't type because I can't really go ahead into the messages and have a look. About the placements, Ganesh will talk to you. So yeah, so when you're talking about it, it's always 100% advisable to go for Linux, AWS, and DevOps. Don't go for single courses because they will cost you more, and at the same time, the hiring is also not focused on single tools anymore. Even if it is for the beginner, they are asking this much. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anyone?
Sir, it means you are saying like if we selected for the DevOps position, okay, it is
Correct.
necessary to know all these tools as well, like
To crack an
AWS,
interview, you need all these things.
Okay.
After going in, you may be sitting on Jenkins only.
Okay. It means
Somebody
it
may be
depend upon project.
correct. For example, if you are hired for an automation role, you will be using Terraform and Ansible only, just like
Okay.
me right now.
Okay.
Jenkins is read only for me.
Okay.
You got my point?
Yes, it means
Tomorrow
depend
you are
on
thrown
project.
into pipelines. Then
Yeah.
you have to work with Jenkins. For example, if I'm looking for a job shift right now, right?
Okay.
I'm thinking of migrating to Malaysia right now. So I am also going through the same job shift thing. So tomorrow I am an automation engineer. Tomorrow, if they told me to work on Jenkins, I have to have an idea about it, right? So for that, what they will do, they will ask you each and every tool because they just want to confirm that you are proficient with everything which you have touched.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
That is why there are so many tools, and that is why DevOps is something which lands you in a job really easily compared to trying only Linux, only AWS. Only AWS is not there in the market right now. Only Linux is also not there in the market right now. Even if it is for the beginner, they are expecting you to have an idea about at least Ansible as well as Terraform. You can have a look at the job descriptions also or the job requirements which are posted online. Then you will get an idea about it also. Only that
AWS is must for
Sorry? Hello?
AWS is completely must for sir.
Sir, your voice is breaking. Someone who's talking? Hello?
Sir, is it audible?
Karthik, right? Your voice is chipping, man.
Okay, sir. I'll chat.
Chat. Yes. Send me a message. Anybody else? Any other questions? Any other questions? I'll take this question. Yes, AWS is must for DevOps. If you ask me, I'll tell you why. For example, there is a data center, for example. Let us take a data center, for example. Okay, na? So inside data center, there will be blade servers and rack servers. Blade servers and rack servers. These blade servers and rack servers mostly are from, Dell or HP. Any blade servers or rack servers you can have. For example, I have the blade servers that can run 10,000 servers, for example, let us say. Okay. Tomorrow, one project is running. I am running 10,000 servers for that project. Tomorrow, another project came. Okay, now. 20,000 servers is the requirement. Now what I have to do, I have to scale up my infrastructure. Correct or not? I have to buy more servers. Tomorrow one more project came. I got 30,000 servers requirement this time. Again, I will scale up. And then suddenly one project gone. One project got cancelled, for example. Then what happens? I have to spend for this infrastructure unnecessarily, for the maintenance of it, for the power of it, for the cooling systems, for the people who maintain it. I have to pay for everything unnecessarily. So now to avoid this, what happened is cloud came into existence. Now, after cloud came into existence, what happened was there are so many cloud service providers who were there. All these cloud service providers who are there started building their own data centers all over the world, and they got all the data centers connected to each other. Now you can sit in India and run your project inside US data center. Also in India, you can use their data center and make your work possible. So that is why what happened, sensitive data will be in our data centers, operations, etc., whatever is not really sensitive will be on cloud. So this environment is called hybrid environment. Many of the companies are using hybrid environment, so you need to know cloud. Without cloud, nothing doing. Without cloud, you can't even see a requirement. So cloud is that important for DevOps. Any other questions you have? Any other questions you have? Ganesh, I think you can take over.
So Aditya and Kumar, any questions from your end? And even Eldo?
Karthik, Namrata, anyone?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay.
Eldo?
So is there any placement assistance?
Sure, Aditya. We can discuss about tomorrow about placement and everything.
Okay.
I'll call you tomorrow and we can discuss.
Yeah, sure.
So that's it. Can I call it a day?
Eldo, do you have anything to ask?
Yeah, no, sir.
Okay.
All right then.
Sure. Then we can wind up for the day.
All right.
See you tomorrow one by one.
Thank you then. Bye bye. Good day, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Ram. Thanks for your time.
Yeah. Bye.